Hi guys, it's Archie Luxury and welcome to the Archie Luxury channel, Archie Luxury program. This guys is my video on the Archie Luxury channel. I hope to make a good video more of. If you want to get more of Archie, guys, we have another channel, the Archie Luxury live stream channel. That's the sister channel to this channel. And we broadcast twice a day in the morning and at night, twice a day, two broadcasts. So depending on where you are in the world, it's different times. I'll put a link. I'll put a link. I think they do the corners, or it's. I'll put a link. Archie Luxury live stream twice a day. And guess what? You can jump on and participate. These are live streams and they allow you to interact. Okay, guys, today's topic is why every 50-year-old needs a HELOC. Now, what is a HELOC? HELOC is a home equity line of credit. Basically, what it does is it allows you to access some of the equity in your home, your house, and it allows you to use that money for whatever the fuck you want. So the question is, why am I advising this? People like the Dave Ramsey, they say HELOC's dangerous, it's bad, it's evil, it's this, it's, well, hang on a minute. Of course, any line of credit, borrowing for consumption is not necessarily a good thing. Borrowing for gambling is not a good thing. Borrowing for stupid things is not a good thing. However, if you use it for sensible things, if you use that money to give you time and to do a strategy, financial strategy, it can work to your advantage. Let me explain. With access to funds, you can react differently to different situations. Let's give a few scenarios a call. So say for example, you get fired, retrenched, the boot, the can, the sack. They ask you to not come back again. The long vacation, the Monday that never ends. Sorry, the Sunday that never ends. And what happens is, if you have access to funds, well, it's, even if they're borrowed funds, it's not so difficult. For example, you get the boot. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you then can say, well, hang on a minute, I can at least make my payments. I can at least make my car payments. I can at least figure out what the fuck I'm going to do next. However, if you have no funds, no line of credit, you're a bit fuck this, fuck tie. You got to urgently get new employment immediately. And remember, guys, mortgagee in possession sales, it's the payments. It's missing out on 3 payments. That's correct. Mortgagee, when the bank takes over, you can lose your property in as little as 3 payments, 3 months. That's right. Normally these payments are monthly. 3 missed monthly payments, it's all over. So access to funds, even if it's borrowed funds, allows you to stall the inevitable. Well, it allows you to stall and work on a new plan. Let's have a look at this. Home equity line of credit. Why do I say you should do it? Let me tell you why. Let's put a few links and let's have a look at a few interesting things around the interweb here. Let's have a sticky beak. Let's have a sticky beak here. And I'm going to link to these streams, sorry, these channels, because I think they're quite good. Look at this one here. This is a great channel here. It's called Aged Blocked. Let's have a look at this dude. This dude here. Let's have a look. He starts off. Then you turn 50 and life becomes a horror story. The end. Look at this. Look at this.
I'm 64 and I got nothing saved for retirement. That's pretty scary. So my last real job was...
My God, look at that. 64, nothing saved for retirement. And that's a great channel. Check it out. Aged Blocked. He's an Aussie guy. He's been unemployed for 4 years, and he documents his struggles and gives career advice. He seems like a really nice guy. That's correct, guys. That is a channel I think well worth checking it out. I'll tell you another good channel that I really enjoyed here. Another great channel. Just going to find it for you. Just hang on there, guys. Just let me find this channel here. There's another great channel that I really enjoy. Let's get why have I got these silly ads? I got YouTube Premium. I got the premium. I got premium squeeze. Why is it giving me this garbage when I've got the premium? Okay, let's get this up here now. Sorry, let's get another one. I'll get this. That's not going to work. Let's get this up here. Fade to Grey. This is another channel which I think is really quite spectacular. He's a really interesting dude. Really interesting dude, this guy here. Fade to Grey. And he's in here. I think he's 56. He's quite a interesting character. Interesting character indeed. He documents his struggles. Fade to Grey. That's another great. Now, in his case here, he's in the UK. He comes from an accounting background. The other dude was a software engineer. This guy here is a contract accounting background. He's quite. I tell you what, I actually like the dude. And you know, the problem is these guys here are so fucking. How do I put it? They're so down on their luck. You just want to go and give them a hug. You want to go and give them a hug. I want to give them a hug. I'm going to put links to these two channels. So Age Blocked and Fade to Grey. Now, let me explain this to you guys. Okay. If you are in your 50s, I strongly recommend getting a home equity. Get some lines of credit. What do I mean? Well, what I want you to do is this. I'm going to give you some advice. I'd get a few credit cards. You don't need 20 of the buggers. Get some reasonable limits. Get 2 or 3 credit cards with between Aussie dollars, US dollars, 10,000 each. 2 or 3 with $10,000 limit each. If you get a bigger limit, points to you. Get a home equity loan. I'd say borrow about $100,000. Okay. Now, I didn't tell you to go and spend that on whores and gambling. No, that money there is strategic. Now, in our 50s, we can have a number of shit happens. The odds get longer. We can have retrenchment, unemployment. We can get fired. We can have career disasters. We can have some health scares. So we need some time off to recover from some health concerns. We can also get the grey divorce. That's right. She can leave us. We can get separated. So access to approved funds is a great thing. Once you are fired, once you get the boot, once you get retrenched, the bank's not going to give you a home equity loan. They're not going to give you access to these funds. I know in my own business, I'm the YouTuber, and I've done really well with the live streaming. By the way, guys, daily live streams, morning and night, 2 streams a day. On my ArchieLuxury live stream channel, I'll link it. In my own case, guess what? I work for myself. The business is changing. Economy's getting tougher. Income's going down. You know what? Get your application for finance now. Do it now whilst you've got good credit, whilst you've got good figures. Get the application, set up your reserve. Get these. You may not need to use this money, but if you do, you don't have to lick the bank manager's asshole out. No, you don't. And that's the whole thing. If you're in your 50s and you have a property and you've got equity you can tap into, get the line of credit done now. That's right. Now, let me give you an example. If you are stupid and spend it on travel and buying a new car, well, that's going to bite you in the ass. However, let's have a look at my circumstance, okay? So I'm 52. In how long am I? Well, 52 in basically 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks' time, I'm 52. I got a PCP. I got a BMW 3 Series, 330i. And, we had some tax incentive here where you could claim the depreciation in 1 year. I claimed 5 years depreciation. That's great. Gave me a beautiful tax benefit. Unfortunately, if I sell the car before the 5-year term, I got to pay that money, some of that money back. So, also, I bought the car when COVID, we just come out of COVID and people were going ballistic, all that free money they were spending. Well, now the car market is turned. Not only would I have a tax issue if I sold the car, but I've also got a issue with being upside down on the finance. What I mean is I owe more than what the stealer would give me for the car. I'm upside down. So what do? Well, I can tell you this. I do love the car. The car brings me a lot of joy. It's a beautiful thing. However, you know what? However, let me tell you this, guys. However, you know what, guys? I'm not going to be upgrading to a new one, am I? I'm not going to be racing out there getting a new one just yet. I'm going to be sensible. That's correct, guys. I want to be. But let's see if we can bring up a picture of the Beamer. The Beamer there. Look at that. There we go. That's the car in question. Isn't she beautiful? $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month payment. Fuck. And servicing. I've got a service pack, but still, it's not a cheap car. Tires are $500 each. The brakes, $1,600 rear or front for brakes and rotors. So, you know what, guys? I tell you what we do. My advice to you is to secure lines of credit, get it ready, because once we're in our 50s, I'm stuck in this car. I can't get out of it for tax reasons and also the market shit. So I'm still got 2.5 years. I'm halfway through the 5-year term. So I wanted to have funds in case my business isn't doing so well. Well, no, I can fund it. I can keep it until it's better for me to sell it. Let's face it, I get joy out of having the vehicle. And if I keep it longer, I don't have the tax problem. And you know what? I got money to pay it out. I don't have to worry, because if you go to the finance company when you've had a massive, you've been booted and scooted from work, booted, you're unemployed, hard to get finance, hard to get finance. So that's the reason you get a HELOC, get a HELOC. The other reason is too, let me explain this. If you can get 100 US, 100,000, 150,000 Aussie dollars, well, you can keep the payments going. See, normally when your shit hits the fan, the shit hits the fan. We got poo stains all over the walls. Normally, when the shit hits the fan, guess what? You still earn some money, but you don't earn the big bucks. So if you, for example, could have access to some funds which you used to make the minimum mortgage payment each month, you get a couple months thinking time. And let's face it, if you got a fucking disaster, if you have a disaster, if you have a stinky disaster, you have a couple of months just to mentally just say it'll be okay. I can make the payments with a home equity loan, $100,000. I technically could survive for 50 months. That's 5 fucking years. Now, that's if I use the home equity loan to make the payment, which is dumb. But what I'm saying is I could take a 6-month sabbatical just to have a reset, work out what do I want to do with the rest of my life. It also gives me time as well. Say, for example, I need to downsize, or the shit has hit the fan and it ain't clearing up. Well, it allows me, instead of having a mortgagee and possession sale, it gives me time to sell the property and get out on my time, not the bank's time, on my time. So having access to funds, the best thing I could say to any 50-year-olds there is to get a HELOC now. If you are self-employed, if you are working for a big organization, if you're working for a medium-sized company or a small business, get your HELOC done now. Because once the shit hits the fan, they won't lend you a brass fucking razoo. So get your HELOC ready. Now, my rules for accessing the HELOC is simple. I don't mind using some HELOC. In my case there, I tried with my business. I did many travels. I also did some renovations to an apartment. And guess what? I put it on credit card because I'd budgeted money, but it blew out. It blew out. So I used a little bit of HELOC to get rid of credit card high interest debt. Now, I'm not going to recharge those credit cards with more stupidity. No, I've learnt the lesson. I'm not going to do this. I'm changing tact. In my case, in my business, I'm going to travel less. Or if I do travel, it's less expensive places. No more America or the UK, more China, Thailand, Vietnam, budget end. So with the HELOC, get rid of the credit card debt. I've done that. Also, I owed a friend money. I had a friend, I owed him 7,700 Aussie dollars. It's a long story. I bought a watch off him and I owed him a bit. And you know what? I don't want to prolong a debt to a friend. I wanted that to be cleaned up. I want to sleep at night better. So I just used a little bit of HELOC to do that. I'm also putting some money, doing some repairs on my home. I want to get a carport. I want to fix the deck, the back deck on my house. I don't mind using a bit of HELOC money to do that. Now, I'm keeping HELOC money up my sleeve to pay this beamer off when the PCP ends. Because it's got a balloon. It's got a balloon at the end. A balloon. So now if some prick pops it, I got funds to pay the note. So I want to keep that up my sleeve. I gotta tell you something. I've got to tell you something. With HELOC, it's a financial tool. You use it wisely, it can help you survive these turbulent years. Now, some people who seem to have the world falling apart, go check out Age Blocked and Fade to Grey. They should have got the HELOC before retrenchment. See, get the HELOC before you're given the boot, and that way there it gives you time to think, time to survive. Now, the other thing is, let's face it, as we get older, we can get fucking serious health conditions. I had a good friend of mine, the Sirocco sales. My good friend of mine, the Sirocco, he was 65, and very sadly, let me tell you this, very, very, very sadly, he died of pancreatic cancer. Now that's a fucking awful. I actually visited my Sirocco sales. I visited my Sirocco in November. Let's bring up a picture. This is when I visited my Sirocco at the Royal Brisbane Hospital. Here he is. Here's my Sirocco. Hey. Unfortunately, he passed away. So access to funds, well, if you're given the bad news, you don't have to scramble and live out your last days so badly. You can use, because I mean, at the end of the day, that the estate will be sold, everything will balance out. Someone else can take care of the HELOC, but use a bit of funds to make sure you have a reasonable standard of living if you're given the worst possible news. So my honest advice to you is this: if you are in your late 40s, early 50s, late 50s, mid 50s, get a fucking HELOC now. Get a HELOC. Get the home equity line of credit whilst you've got access to this. I didn't say spend it. Put it back into the mortgage. Don't use it unless you have some serious problems. You want to be ready to, if the shit hits the fan, you've got those funds there. So I got to be honest with you. In my own case, I've got a HELOC because there's some uncertainty in the business. The business is proving to be difficult. The business is difficult. I want to be able to, instead of having to be forced, I can float the boat for a number of months without worrying. Well, I could float the boat technically if my income stream stops. See, the thing is, you can always earn some money. Okay. You can always earn some. You can do some menial minimum wage jobs. You can. But for a lot of us middle-aged people there, it's not going to pay the bills. So if it can pay half the bills, you've got some borrowed money you can use. So I strongly say, if you're in your 50s, get the HELOC. Get the HELOC. Get the funds, available funds, borrow now, get the credit approved, and then let's face it, once you're given the pink slip, once you're retrenched, the bank's not going to lend you a fucking brass razoo. So if you've got, ideally, we'd have an emergency fund with savings in it. Well, that's not really true, see, because what we'd do is you'd probably put those, if you had funds, you'd put them into the money. Keep them in the bank. That's right, guys. There you go, guys. That's the show for today. HELOC. Get a HELOC. Get a HELOC. That's the advice. Tell me what you think. And I will see you in the next one. That's right. So get your lines of credit. Get a few credit cards. better to have access to borrowed funds now when you can get them instead of when you really need them, because when you really need them, they don't lend money to people who need the money. They lend money to people who don't need it. It's the simple premise. And if you don't need to use the HELOC, well, don't use it. But it's a safety net. It lets you sleep comfortably at night. HELOC, HELOC, HELOC. Get lines of credit ready and then ride out the next 10 years safely. That's the way it goes, guys. I'm ArchieLuxury. Tell me what you think. And don't forget, daily live streams. I stream twice a day. Twice a day. Twice a day I streaming twice a day. And I got to be totally honest with you. That's pretty damn good. Twice a day streaming. Check it out, and I will see you in the...
Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about DavidSW. DavidSW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at DavidSW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to DavidSW. I would highly recommend DavidSW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to DavidSW. DavidSW.